It always starts the same way. You're not tired anymore, you're awake. But not the "I'm ready to start the day" kind. The kind where your body's exhausted, but your mind has decided this is the perfect moment to begin its nightly performance. Not because something happened, but because something returned. I need you to take a slow breath in. Hold it, not perfectly, just long enough. Let it go. I've been exactly where you are right now, and so have millions of others. A thought you didn't invite, a moment from earlier that shouldn't matter anymore, but suddenly does. Maybe it was a sentence you replayed too late. Maybe a tone you wish you'd changed. Maybe something you did that you wish you had done differently. And too often, something you didn't do, which for some reason now feels even worse. And once that thought shows up, your mind takes it as permission. Permission to open every unfinished tab, every half-formed worry, every "I'll deal with that later." Later has arrived at 2:17 a.m. and your brain doesn't whisper. It interrogates. It pulls out evidence. It connects dots that were never meant to touch. It treats uncertainty like danger and silence like proof. You're suddenly on trial, and the judge, jury, and prosecutor all sound suspiciously like you. And then the voice shows up. It sounds calm, reasonable, familiar. It doesn't scream or insult. It just asks questions, helpful-sounding questions like, "Why didn't you handle that better? Why does this keep happening? How could you let some random fellow talk to you like that 7 years ago? Everyone else seems to have figured this out. Why haven't you?" And then quietly, the one that lands hardest. "Maybe this is just who you are." Now pause here. Because here's what that voice never tells you. This is not the time of day for truth. At 2:17 a.m., your mind is tired. Your emotional filters are offline. Your brain is running on low power mode and still insisting on high performance analysis. This is the hour when your brain becomes your worst enemy. Everything sounds heavier, permanent, even final. A small mistake feels like a pattern. A slow week feels like a failed lifetime. An argument with your partner feels like the end. You feel alone, lonely. There are too many things to deal with. How will you manage to solve them all? So the first thing you do now is stop trying to solve anything. Not because you're giving up, but because you're being human. You don't need answers right now. You need grounding. Again, take a slow breath in. Hold it, not perfectly, just long enough. Let it go. Now do something slightly physical, something boring, something real. Press your feet into the mattress. Feel the weight of your body. Notice the absurd fact that you're a human being lying in a bed at night, thinking very hard about things that will absolutely still exist tomorrow. Remind yourself gently, not dramatically. I'm here. I'm safe. This is just a moment. Next, separate thoughts from facts. A thought says, "I'm falling behind." A fact says, "It's late. I'm tired. My brain is exaggerating for sport." A thought says, "I should have figured this out by now." A fact says, "Humans are famously bad at timelines." If you can, write one sentence down. Just one. Not a life plan. Not a to-do list. Something simple like, "This can wait." Because if it can wait until morning, it doesn't belong to this hour. Now, and this is where the conversation changes, change the question. Instead of asking, "What's wrong with me?" ask, "What do I actually need right now?" Sometimes it's reassurance, sometimes it's permission, but most times the answer is sleep. To not be productive for the next 8 hours. And sometimes, let's be honest, it's just comfort and sleep. Not solutions, not growth, not improvement, comfort. And if the voice comes back, because sometimes it will, you don't argue with it. You don't debate it. You don't try to win. You acknowledge it. You say, "Thank you. I know you're trying to protect me, but we're not doing this now." That's leadership of yourself. Because tomorrow is when reflection happens, when your mind is rested, when perspective returns, when problems look smaller, or at least negotiable. Tonight is not for fixing your life. Tonight is for protecting it. And here's the quietly hopeful part, the part nobody tells you when you're stuck in this hour. You've survived this moment before. You will again. You don't remember every 2:17 a.m. you've had, and that's kind of the point. Most of them passed, quietly, without applause, and slowly, if you let it, your breathing steadies. The thoughts lose their edge. The voice softens, not because everything is resolved, but because you stopped letting exhaustion pretend it's wisdom. Tomorrow is still coming, even if it doesn't feel close, even if you can't picture it clearly yet. So close your eyes again, not because you failed to find answers, but because you've learned when to pause the conversation. And that's how you get through the night, my friend. If you feel more content with your thoughts, but yet haven't fallen asleep, I've made something else for nights like this. A quiet place to land. A video designed to slow things down even further. No thinking, no processing, just gentle guidance into sleep. You don't have to watch it. You can just let it play. If you want, it's there for you.